The O'Reilly Factor is on tonight.
The system has failed, and it's my responsibility to find out why and to correct that failure.
But what happens if terrorism does occur again on Mr. Obama's watch? Would that be the end of his administration? Dick Morris will analyze.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Will al-Qaida destroy the Obama administration? That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Some conservatives are saying the president does not take terrorism seriously enough, but that's not the case any longer. Yesterday, the president was deadly serious about stopping any more terror attacks against Americans. Mr. Obama's a smart guy. He knows that he's got 3 strikes against him now, but he's not out. He is, however, tottering. When a Muslim terrorist killed 1 soldier, wounded another in Arkansas, the press pretty much ignored it. Then came the Fort Hood massacre. The president never called it an act of terrorism. Then the underwear bomber struck on Christmas Day. Initially, the president called him an isolated extremist. Well, that's 3 strikes in 6 months. And now there's trouble in the air. Most Americans will not stand for poor security. The Obama administration has dismantled so many of the Bush-Cheney anti-terror programs that worked against terrorism, that the president now finds himself in a very precarious situation. The perception in many quarters is that the Obama administration cares more about the rights of terrorists than protecting the American people. That may not be fair, but the perception is out there. If al-Qaeda manages another terrorist strike against the USA in the upcoming months, President Obama will be in serious trouble. He knows it, and that's why he looked so grim yesterday. Al-Qaeda also knows it. Those killers understand the chaos they're causing, and of course they want to build on that. Politics is often a very foolish game. Ideologues on both sides try to demean people with opposing points of view. But killing 3,000 people on 9/11 and coming close to blowing up a Northwest airliner on Christmas Day trumps politics. That's life and death. Talking Points has said over and over the president is making a big mistake by trying foreign terrorists in civilian courts, by outlawing coerced interrogation, and by giving the world a perception that America's war on terror is not a noble undertaking. We are not the problem. Al-Qaeda is. And by the way, terror thugs have no rights. None. If they did, why is President Obama shooting drones at them without a trial? Think about it. President's dropping bombs on suspected terrorists. No trial, no interrogation, just death. But then he turns around and gives Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who admits planning the murder of 3,000 people, lawyers and a civilian trial. Does that make any sense to you? The issue of terrorism could well bring down the Obama administration. One more successful attack on this country, and all hell will break loose. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, the president's approval ratings entering his 2nd year in office. Rasmussen Daily Tracking Poll has 49% of Americans approving of Mr. Obama's job performance right now, 51% disapproving. The Gallup poll has 44% disapproving, 50% approving. Gallup says that is among the lowest approval ever for a president entering his 2nd year. An interesting footnote, Ronald Reagan also had a similar number entering his 2nd year. Let's now analyze Dick Morris, the purveyor of DickMorris.com, one of the finest political websites in the country. Now, you disagree with me on this. I was going to throw you out of the studio.
No, not completely.
But I said, you know, I tease Morris, and I can't throw him out.
My shading is a little different than yours.
All right.
It's not a complete
Let me hear the shading.
It's not one more attack and he's out.
Oh, come on.
No, it's
come on.
It's not. A series of attacks, if al-Qaeda keeps doing this. And
3 times in 6 months.
Yeah, and we keep having more of these. It's going to be very, very serious for him. And the reason is not just the perception that he's weak on terror, and not just the perception that he doesn't give it the importance that it deserves and he accords them too many rights. A perception can and will grow then that Obama is too weak.
It's already there.
And that Obama is incompetent.
It's already there.
Well, it's a nascent form.
No. Let me stop you right there. Okay, here's why you're wrong. Desperately wrong, Morris. Morris is desperately wrong. Dick Cheney, hammering him.
Yeah.
Sarah Palin, on her Facebook page, kills him yesterday. Now, here are the 2 strongest voices right now on the GOP side. Cheney, because he's speaking out as former vice president, and Palin on the ascent. They're both saying the same thing. This guy has no clue how to protect Americans. And you're telling me it's in a nascent form? It's there.
Let me try to explain what I mean here. You have a series of issues against Obama that are the right fighting the left. You know, with
health care, stimulus, all of that. Right.
This is an issue where, when it's dealing with civil rights, or Guantanamo is a right-left issue. But when it's dealing with things like incompetence in keeping people off airplanes, or not having the no-fly list be comprehensive, or the kinds of mistakes that took place here, it's not ideological. It affects all Americans.
Everybody, right.
And therefore, it represents a kind of flank attack on Mr. Obama, which I think could be very, very effective and very devastating. I may not be as far as you are in terms of its effect right now. Bear in mind, those approval ratings are actually a little bit up for him. He was down at 46.
Well, it's Christmas and people are feeling better. But
yeah,
tell me, trust me, next week they're going to be down again. But look, here's what you're missing. Here's what you're missing. And you are missing it, and you usually don't. Americans, and you're right, this is not an ideological issue. Protecting Americans from killers is not ideological. It's life and death. We now have 3 in 6 months. The first one,
4 is Afghanistan, where they wiped out half of the CIA.
Well, that's different. That's not on American soil. This is on American soil, okay? Arkansas was 2 soldiers, media uncovered. Then it blew up at Fort Hood. And now this guy in Detroit coming in. Okay, we haven't had an outcry where you haven't had Tea Party people screaming. But I'll tell you what, one more. If they blow up a mall and you got dead American children, you're going to sit there and tell me that's not going to ruin the Obama administration with all of the other things that he's dismantled? You're wrong.
Well, I'm maybe converted.
All right, I'm glad. No, I like to see you keep an open mind.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Hill coming up behind you, and and I hope he's watching, because it's just picture out. And I don't like to use, and you know me, I do not like to use hypotheticals. I don't. But you're going to tell me that Al-Qaeda doesn't think it's got an advantage right now? And they want to hit us again.
And the fascinating thing about this is that it takes place at a time when he has made such a big deal over talking to the Muslim street, over opening up America to Islam and being effective to the Arab community, and it's being shown as being completely ineffectual. That it's not doing anything.
But the one thing he has done, and the best point I think I had in my talking points memo, is he's shooting drones at people without a trial.
Yeah.
And you know who's killed?
Well,
the whole village gets killed. All right? Everybody's dead. He's shooting drones at them. That's just the toughest thing he's doing. Number one, he doesn't talk about it very much. Yeah. He doesn't talk that up. But number two, there's no trial. Yeah. He's just, bang, you're dead.
But why he's allowing this Nigerian to be prosecuted in criminal court?
It's crazy. That's what my point is.
With Miranda rights. I mean, if there was ever a case for waterboarding, this is it.
Right. And 52% of Americans want him waterboarded.
And let me say this.
And you wouldn't even have to waterboard him, Mars. You show him the waterboard, and this guy give it up.
But
Did you see the hat on him? You show him the waterboard, he gives it up. You don't have to dunk him.
But the other point is the stuff that he says after we dunk him should not be admissible against him in criminal court. We still have a Fifth Amendment.
I don't care about that. You just want to know.
We just want to know who's going to hit us next.
How he got $3,000, who sent him to Amsterdam, what cell trained him in Yemen, who the guys are.
That's right.
But they made a look. To be fair, they may have already gotten that from him.
But the point I'm making to you is that you have a Cheney and you have Sarah Palin attacking him for being weak on terror and soft and so on. A lot of Americans are not prepared to say that, but what they are prepared to say is he's weak and incompetent.
That's a good point. But I won't even go that far. A lot of Americans aren't going to say that he's weak on terrorism, but he's
a weak person.
Doubt. There is doubt now.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
unless you are a hardcore NBC News ideologue.
This is a second front in the war on Obama.
Okay, but listen to me for a minute. Unless you are a Kool-Aid drinking, I don't care, as long as he's liberal, I'm going to support him. There's doubt in your mind now. Yeah. Am I safe? Are my family safe? Yeah. You get hit one more time, particularly if there are children or women killed, innocent civilians killed. You don't think that's going to backlash on him?
Yeah, sure. Sure it will.
So I've converted you.
You've converted me. You have. You know, O'Reilly's right. It's too bad you didn't bet a dinner.
I love those words. Can you say that again? I love those words. All right, now, can the president, in his current position, turn it around? Can he do something to be a tough guy?
Yes, and you just saw him do that. There was a failure. It was terrible. I'm going to hold them responsible.
But the other guy's in civilian court now.
Yeah, but when he starts doing that, and that's why his ratings are up 3 or 4 points right now, because he was doing that. But over the long haul, there are 3 things that are going to bring him down. One is his failure in the war on terror. Number 2 is his failure in the economy. And number three, his success in passing that health care bill, which, as it takes effect, is going to turn people off in droves.
Well, next week we're going to go into the health care bill. We want to see it, what they come up with, but that's certainly going to be very
And by the
controversial.
way, the greatest disease next to the H1N1 virus that's sweeping Washington is Democratic retirements.
Yeah,
They're
all
all
those guys
quitting.
retiring.
And that sends a message to the voters that the Democrats know that they're in trouble.